Let me tell you something. They've got the guys got the parking lot across.
Judge, I have 9 o'clock, sir. I have 9 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
Don't do what you
Morning, fellas.
How you doing, Phil?
There ain't no such thing. I can't. They got scouts. I hear where I want.
They hired them.
You don't know about two things.
You've been around Billy. Yeah, the problem I have to take so many times. So a lot of times, yeah, so bad.
Okay, it looks like we lost the courtroom's camera. Be just a minute, we'll get them back on.
We're not online. Is that what you said?
We are now.
Okay. Stand for pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. I want to welcome everyone that's attended on here today. It's on Zoom. I believe, guys, if you have any questions for the county attorney, she's on Zoom. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of August 24th and September 14th, 2021.
So moved.
That's your phone. Second by Master Couchins, questions, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed. Announcements. Does anyone have anything in your respective districts you'd like to announce?
You know, Judge, I'm not sure, but I think the first weekend in October is the roller coaster. Pretty sure that's the day, like the man said, that is. Down through Temple Hill.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, we'll move right along. Reports. Under mine, there were some questions about the audit, and Jenny is prepared to answer those questions. So Fire away.
If, Jenny, if you could, I'd like for you to cover the three, areas that, the auditors reported that we needed, needed some attention.
Let's see. Well, on the first one, that they listed Barren County Fiscal Court did not approve all cash transfers. Again, this was not my audit, so I don't, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
This was not my audit. This was before my time. So, I can't answer that first question. I don't know.
Well, did they give you the details of what they were referring to, as far as the cash, transfers?
It says 6 of the transfers made by the county treasurer did not agree with the cash transfers approved by the fiscal court and documents in the minutes. These 6 transfers totaled $784,416. This was caused by an oversight by management. They did not realize the cash transfers, including those for debt service payments, required fiscal court approval. By not having cash transfers approved, fiscal court may not be aware of accurate fund balances, which would create a cash flow issue. So I'm assuming that on the debt service payments, the transfers didn't get court approval. That was before my time, so I don't really know the answer to that.
Okay, and I know, another court members can chime in here too. I remember things, the debt, the debt service, if you look under the transfers, those payments will be there.
You ready to move on to the next one?
I am.
Okay. The second one, it says the Barren County Fiscal Court does not have adequate controls over disbursements. Barren County Fiscal Court does not have adequate control over disbursements. The following were noted during the disbursement testing. 1 payment was not recorded properly. 5 notices were not paid within 30 days. 11 purchase orders were not issued. And these mostly are talking about purchase orders for like utilities and payroll. We never did issue purchase orders for that. It's my understanding. I have spoken to a lot of treasurers since this. We are not the only county that has gotten written up for this. Almost every county has gotten written up for this. Some treasurers have chosen still not to do it because it's very time consuming and very costly. We have chosen to start doing it. It is very time consuming, but we're not the only county that got written up. Even though that the utilities and the payroll is all listed in the section of the budget that we don't really have to do that, they want us to do it anyway. So it was never done before. It's my understanding, but we are doing it now.
I know we've discussed purchase orders before, with this court, especially with, department heads and things of that nature. But you're saying these purchase orders relate to utilities?
Yes, they want us to write a purchase order for every utility, for every payroll bill. And we're doing that now, but it takes so many purchase orders and it takes so much time, but we're doing it anyway, so we don't get written up again.
So part of this problem, invoices not being paid 30 days, some of that fall back on department heads for not getting turned in.
Yes, we can't pay them unless we have them. Let's see, the third one Barren County Fiscal Court failed to implement adequate internal controls over maintenance of the capital asset schedule. This is the asset schedule that lists all vehicles. It lists all improvements, anything that gets done. And I personally wasn't even aware that this existed until this audit. So apparently it was not up to date on the audit for this one. I have since gone back and have updated it to current. I'm still actually working on that to get it updated to current. So again, this was before me, so I don't really know about that, about this one, why it was not updated.
All right, so if I'm understanding you correctly, Jenny, then, of course, there's an asset listing for the county. You know, and as assets become obsolete, I would say those would need to be deleted off that.
Yes,
And as we purchase equipment and assets, then those would need to be added. So what you're telling me then, that just hasn't been,
it just
updated.
wasn't updated. And also, like I said, I wasn't even aware that document existed. But it also lists road improvements and things like that that's on there. Again, I wasn't aware it existed, but I am now, so working on keeping it up to date.
And just a comment, in the future, I would appreciate, I'm not gonna figure it out, sorry, but in the future, I would appreciate if you had something like this come up, and I know the new media, if it was all kosher, nobody would have picked it up. They would have said a word about it, and some things in there they thought were newsworthy. That's how we found out about it. So in the future, if something like this comes up, if you would notify us ASAP, I should, or notify me.
And I understand that. However, when I got this email, the news media had it at the same time.
Okay,
It gets released to them the same time it gets released to me. And again, this being my first time, you know, doing an audit, I was instructed that I would receive a box of audits. That didn't happen with this one. And so that's what I was waiting on. It didn't happen. So I was unaware that I was supposed to forward that to you guys. I'm aware of that now.
okay.
So it will happen in the future. Yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
and but my other only comment, Jenny, would be, you know, piggybacking there on Carl just a little bit, but in the future, you know, when audit results that you do have those, that those just as quickly as that can be done, be brought before the court. You know, whether that is the next regular scheduled meeting or a special, I guess a special call meeting could be called just to, you know, to let the court know.
Absolutely.
Okay, but appreciate you giving an explanation on all these and appreciate what you're doing.
Okay, any other questions? If not, we'll move on. Award the letter, the Community Development Block Grant Utilities Assistance Funding. Sherry, would you like to
Sure.
explain that?
You all have previously given authority to enter into a grant agreement with the state. It's a community development block grant. We were awarded the $200,000 to help with assistance, utility assistance within the community, which is a good thing. And we are working with the local nonprofit agency to get the details worked out on this. They're waiting for an agreement from Frankfurt to finalize the deal. And the court will have to enter into a legally binding agreement with our local nonprofit to make sure that these grants are properly administered. So it's a good thing, good idea. So you've already given us approval. We just want to let you know that we were awarded.
Thank you. And how is that grant dispersed?
The way I understand it with representative from the Brad office, because they are administering the grant, it is a CDBG. We as the fiscal court being a recipient, we will request the money and then we will pass the money along to the nonprofit and they have procedures to follow to make sure that it goes out.
there any qualifications of who sees this?
That's what they're still working on.
Okay.
They're still working on that when we get that from Frank.
Okay.
We'll keep you posted on it. It's a good thing, and FYI, the Incorporated Cities of Barren County were also awarded. So hopefully we can help those that need it.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll move on to the county clerk. This is something that we have added to our orders of the day, the revised 2021 budget. And Ms. Lena, if you'd like to explain that.
Elena, you're muted.
I'm so sorry. I'm not used to speaking on the Zoom meeting. So, thank you, Judge. I'm here with Missy Herthines, my bookkeeper, and we are just asking to the court to allow us to amend our current budget. We're looking at increasing a couple $100,000 just to try to yeah, if you want Missy, I'm going to let her just briefly explain to you. If you have any questions, we'll answer those. But we originally budgeted 1.2 million. We're just wanting to increase that to 1.4. And go ahead, Missy. I'll just let you just briefly.
I put some notes on there because I don't like people throwing numbers at me and being like, "Now you get this right." So there's some notes on that sheet that I had given you. We were at 1.23 million for the budgeted amount is what we originally gave in December. Right now, we have turned over a little over 1.1 million. So we are well on our way to meeting the projected budget that we had originally. We're actually at 94% of the projected. Anything, of course, we're 2/3 away through the year. So anything above 66% is above break even. So we're still being really conservative. So we bumped that up to about 1.4, a little over 1.4. We hope to surpass, but again, in these times, we don't really know what's going on with the world and the economy, and we want to be conservative. So we don't want to promise something that we can't deliver on. So that's where we are right now. We're up on a lot of things, down on a few things, but mainly up, which is a great thing, especially considering we've had 3 Mondays in a row that the Frankfurt has been down, and the girls out front have been rocking it, even though we've kind of had some business not taken away from us, but slowed down because of not being able to serve customers due to statewide issues. So we've got our tax sale today, so we're doing really good on our delinquent taxes. Tomorrow. Sorry. I think Helena has an update on some of the delinquent taxes that we have outstanding. We are way down on some of the bills that we had. One buyer come in and purchase tons of old bills. So that was fantastic.
Yes.
So
We're excited.
update on that.
Tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. is the delinquent property tax sale for Barren County. We only have current $176,723.49 in delinquent property taxes. So we're super proud of that number, and the ladies in the recording department and our county attorney's office, they worked so hard to help us bring that money in for the county. So thanks to everyone involved in that. Do you all have any questions about our request to amend our budget?
Just amended it on the revenue side, that's all. Is that correct?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I did not hear that
On
question.
the revenue side, but then I'm not smart enough.
Can you hear what he's saying?
Oh, yes.
I can't hear.
It's cutting out.
Wait, I get about every other
You're
word.
good. You're good.
Okay, good. Okay.
Perfect.
Well,
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, just what Carl was saying was, in other words, the revenue side is what's increasing, which is a great thing.
Right.
The
But
reason
we,
for the bending of the budget, you're going from 1.2 to 1.4 million because there's more revenue coming in. Is that correct?
Right.
Correct.
more revenue, but we also calculate, with more revenue also goes more payouts. So we, percentages of what we pay out, the tax rates to the different jurisdictions. You don't want to up the revenue without, oh yeah, we got to pay more out too. So that's all into consideration. But again, we just want to be conservative and hope to deliver more than
Right.
we're
So yes,
for.
more revenue and more to go out to the taxing districts.
Any other questions?
So what is the exact number you want to amend it to? 1.4 million even?
It's 1,436,793.
1,436,000.
793.
Okay, I will make a motion that we amend the clerk's budget to $1,436,793, approximately 1,200,000.
There's a motion.
Second.
Second, Mr. Dixon. Any other questions? Again, that is the most delinquent that has been collected, I know, since 2015, and that is appreciate y'all's hard work. Also, the county attorney on this for going after that as
Yes.
well. So,
It takes a
okay.
village. Thank
Yes.
you all
Thank you, Judge, also for adding that to the,
for the,
today.
yes, for today's.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Okay, thank you. We'll move on to the sheriff. Vehicle purchase.
Good morning, court. I've got some paperwork here to hand out, visual aids, basically help me through this conversation. 2 pages, gentlemen, 2 different entities here, one Chicago, one Louisville, one new, one used, correct, two new. All right. I believe all the court members, the mic work. Can everybody hear me all right? Okay, this may be a little better. I'm just used to running around with mask all the time. The page that has the CMI at the top, it looks just like a blank page that we've typed on. That is the Chicago Motors page. That is what we've been talking about for several months, and we've had a lot of interaction with that company on used vehicles. That is a 2016 Ford police package vehicle there. As you well know, among other things, the used market is pretty competitive and basically hard to find. So we've been watching this for 2 or 3 months. These vehicles disappear quickly, and we found one that we could use. If you recall, earlier in the budget planning for this year, we had 2 used put in the budget and 2 new put in the budget. So what I want to do is I've located this vehicle in Chicago. That's the price for the vehicle and the delivery. So what I would like to, and I don't have my procedural words correctly, but I'd like to ask for approval for that and get that check cut as soon as possible, because they send us a prepaid label to overnight it. They put it on the truck and it'll be here by Monday.
Need a motion on that?
Yes, sir.
I'll make that motion.
Second. We have a motion. Second. We have a motion to second. Questions?
So the total is $17,850 delivered to Barren County.
Yes, sir.
Vehicle has no warranty.
No, it's used.
You've had good luck out of these people.
So far, hadn't had a problem call. So few normal things, water pump, set of tires. But yes, sir, they served us well.
Half what you,
Yes.
how many miles? Say that.
It should say.
Think about that.
I'd like to get them under 75 if I can find them.
Just for information, this is come out of alcohol money. So
It's already equipped, got the package on it.
It's got a console in it. It's got a spotlight on it. But we put our stickers, we put our blue lights on it. But what's been happening, Mr. Coomer, is you've heard me talk about a lot about the surplus vehicles. We've been able to cabbage those blue lights and some of that radio equipment out of the old vehicles and put it into the new coming vehicles.
any other questions?
Will you have a vehicle, once this one arrives, that you sell?
I believe we've got 4. Mr. Bowman. However, what happens is, obviously, we get new in, we rotate old out. And I don't remember how many old ones I've got in the lot, I just got to do. But yes, there's gonna be a changeover of the old ones. Matter of fact, I've already got a county that's been calling me for 2 months. They found out I've got a 2011 Ford Explorer, has 191,000 miles on it. And they call me twice a month for the purchase of it.
Any other questions? Now, this is for the approval to buy and to pay for. That's what this motion. Okay, all in favor say aye. All opposed. Okay, memorandum of understanding renewal with Park City for law enforcement side. Oh, I'm sorry.
Two separate.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
And also, folks, to review a little historical event, December the 28th last year, I put in an order for a Chevrolet Tahoe that was budgeted for. It arrived this past week. And also, in this upcoming budget that we're presently in, we spoke about 2 Tahoes for this year. Well, I was able to talk him out of another one that was on the truck. So we've got 2 new ones in reserve in Louisville that's tagged for us. That sheet that you had before you was leaching up at the top, I think it is. It shows the state bid price of $39,400. What's my small one? 21. Okay, I don't have it in front of me. But those 2 vehicles we budgeted for, actually one last year, but anyhow, there's 2 up there. They're ready to get. We've got the money for them. So I'm asking permission to proceed with that.
Demo.
I'll say,
Mr. Hamilton, second by Mr. Bowman, and that is to purchase this vehicle too.
They'll be up for us.
Both of the same price.
Yes, sir. State bid. I did. VIN numbers different.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye. All opposed. All right, thank you.
Park City.
Yeah, now we'll get to the memorandum of understanding the renewal of Park City law enforcement.
Fellas, this is a contract we've had for years. Park City pays us a little bit to take calls and patrol in their area. I assigned a deputy to that. It's kind of his pet project, and he's working in Park City. He goes to the city council meetings, I suppose, the city council. Gives a report, so monthly. Lately, they've been sending it in because of COVID restriction. They didn't. So basically, this is a procedural type thing. We just renew it. I think it's in the fine print that we renew it every year. It's supposed to be whatnot.
How many hours does you work Park City?
I did have that. I didn't bring it with me, but as far as being over there, he's probably over there 3 or 4 a day. The Park City's also talking to me about inquiring. I've got to meet with the treasurer again to see how much it would cost them to have a full-time man. However, Mr. Sergeant, full-time, excuse me, if you do a full-time man, basically get 40 hours a week. Well, if you do that, well, there's still several hours a week that's unfilled, and we still cover that. So that's kind of on their side of it. It's not ours, but I do have those numbers. Just didn't bring them with me. I didn't check the dispatch before I came to get to update it. But what calls that he can't make, the assigned deputy, the other road deputy still there.
How long it's been since they've had an increase in pay?
I do not.
Just knew that was set. I didn't know. Ever increased.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion. Good.
Master Dickerson,
Second.
second Master Hutchins. Any other questions?
can that memorandum of understanding be put up your screen? Yeah, that.
I honestly don't know.
It is.
I've been dealing everything hard copy, so I don't.
15,000 is what they pay a year.
That's correct.
Tracy, do you have that? You can pull that up.
Prove that.
Yeah.
Does the same deputy work Park City all the time, or do you alternate?
Currently, yes. Historically, no. What has happened is deputies have retired or moved on or taken other positions and things of that nature. So we assign another person in that area. But for instance, James Roberts does it right now. Tyler Maxey did it a couple of years ago. It just rotates out between their assignments. For instance, Deputy Maxey just took the K-9, so that's a different role for him. So can't really have him coordinated over there when we need him all over the county with a tracking dog.
Park City doing, they'll contribute 15,000 and the remainder of that salary comes from Barren County. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then that's reviewed each year, it says. So,
We try to, yeah. Now, if you'll see the last line, I think it has an automatic renewal in it, in case we miss it, but.
Any other question? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay, next is the public official bond for the tax collection. This is for the sheriff's office. Currently, it's 2.5. It's just up to the court, and we look at this annually, whether you want to keep it the same or raise it. The only thing is, I caution you, we just don't need to talk about how much we keep on hand at one time.
I move that we leave it the same as it is.
Have a motion?
second.
Second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, thank you. All right, we'll move on to Transportation Committee.
Judge, Transportation Committee met Monday the 20th, and we had these items we discussed. Discuss state contracted pricing quotes for Backman Auto Group on the 2022 Silverado 3,500 cab chassis through. Got the bids on those. Do they have a copy of it?
They don't have a copy of the specs, but they have the overall
Yeah.
price.
Oh, right.
And Susan and Scott has communicated with them, so anything you guys need to know, we'll let you know. We talked about this a couple of months ago to pursue this avenue. We do have a couple of vehicles that we need to surplus and move on. I think the overall goal here is to add more trucks to our fleet, equip them with snow plows, and then other things that we can do to help the operation. So and we did say that we'd like to have 2 gas, 1 diesel, one possibly with the diesel with the dump bed for small stuff.
I'll make a motion that we accept these bids.
Have a motion.
So,
We have a second. Mr. Comer, question?
The total cost is $130,442, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, and what the 21, it may be on here, the 21,574. 2 trucks 66, diesel 42, 21,574, what's that?
Yes, so the 21,574 is for the beds and
Oh, okay.
installing.
Okay.
The 108,900 is the cab and chassis.
Okay.
So, and brings it to a total of 130,442.70. The 108,90 will come out of line item that has 150,000 budgeted. The 21,574 will come out of other equipment that's budgeted 150,000 also. So the money is in the budget.
Okay, thank you.
The base price for the gas trucks are 30,000. The base price for the diesel truck is $40,800. Is there really that much benefit to the county to have this truck? 1 diesel and 2 gas. I mean, what's the, is it 10? I don't see the $10,000. So.
Trent, do you think the diesel, as far as lasting, or engine, I know personally, I've got a diesel 300-some thousand on it, it's still excellent shape as far as the engine, so, I mean, maybe these days with gas run that long, or that's something we're probably gonna replace before it gets that many miles, or
I would think you would probably replace it before it gets in. The trucks that we have down there now, the 1-ton trucks, are they gas or diesel?
Gas.
Gas.
so I know the resale value would be higher on diesel.
Would it be 10,000 higher?
Well, percentage wise, you'd have to take off depreciation, you know.
Right.
Or depreciation, after depreciation, I would think it would be.
And then the other thing I would say to this is, once, I think that, once these chips are released, there's literally thousands and thousands and thousands of GM and Ford sitting on lots, but they're unable to run because of this chip that I know nothing about, but once they're released, you're gonna see a flood in the market, you're gonna see some really good sales. When that's gonna happen, I don't know, but you can see 25–30% off their kids. Mad Dash. I'm good with it either way. I just, I'll go with whatever. But too complicated.
Any other questions?
Yeah, just one comment too with these trucks. I understand we're gonna be able to get into a lot of places as far as the trucks of dead end roads and stuff. We can't get dump trucks in to plow snow. Not even getting hung up and stuff.
That's correct. Also with subdivisions, tight subdivisions. And then with the thought here is, if you have someone that does not have a CDL, they can pull the Bobcat around on the trailer behind one of the trucks, maybe take a jag load, this diesel with the dump bed on it, pulling that Bobcat. That's another thought. You wouldn't have to necessarily have a CDL driver to do that. But yes, we would equip all those with snow plows and put them in the fleet.
So what's the time frame on getting these trucks?
Susan?
12 to 16 weeks. At least.
Any other questions? All right, any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay.
Next time we got coming up is discussion of the bid pricing on Hudson material.
Yeah, there's no action to be taken on this. What it is Hudson Materials. When we receive the contract, the first 6 months, the price is not supposed to fluctuate. It's definitely not supposed to go up. He sent us a bill where the price actually had went up. And so the contract specifically says the first 6 months, it should stay the same. The last 6 months, it could fluctuate. So just letting you guys know that we're not paying that extra for that contract. We did talk to the county attorney about that. So that's just informational for you all, just to let you know that. And we do have options. We've actually, by accepting all the bids, we've actually used the competitor to mix us some material up. And then we have a third option as well if we need to. That's the advantage we have taking all bids. So just want to let the court know that.
Okay, the last thing is I'm just gonna update you on roads.
Yeah, just a little update on the road work. Tracy, if you'll put that up there, please. since we have purchased that paver, we try not to let it set too much at all. The work you're gonna see that's being done is mostly here in District 2. Of course, obviously, this is Grimes Way. Just to let you know some of the issues we've been having. When this was dug out, it filled up with water immediately. We don't know if that's part of the breakdown of the integrity, but if you look at the picture over to the right, what I understand that base should be about 6 to 8 inches deep. There may be 3, maybe 4 inches of base on this. But that's sort of what we're dealing with. The concrete trucks and the garbage trucks are wearing it out. And so we've actually hold on, go back there. We actually went a step further to cut bleeders, get this to drain out from under the road. This, again, we're not sure where this is coming from, but so anyway, go to your next picture. And then we're bedding it back with what it needs. And then obviously we're putting our aggregate over top of that. And there's several places on Grimes Way. Okay, next is Noah Steenbergen. This is a heavily traveled agricultural road. These are just a lot of the issues that we've been having. Of course, you all see it all over the county. South Combs, before and after. And what we've experienced with what's going on now with silage cut is once we dust that, the farmers are actually helping us pack that in, or they run over it the more it sets up. So we've talked to them about it. Hey, run over it as much as you need to, because you're actually helping us. So we're actually working together with the farmer to make that happen. That South Combs, it actually goes into Allen County. That is a farm that lays in both counties. So I'm very pleased with what we've done. Here's a little bit of, right there. That's a little bit of what we've done. If you compare to what we pay Scotty's for 7.2 and what we've actually laid down, 7.2. So we're actually doing more roads than we have done in the past. And Susan's got a breakdown on what that looks like. And that's just kind of until the bad weather hits and knocks us out of it. We're still experimenting with our cold mix. We do have some that we can put down when it does get a little cool out. So the only way we're going to really know that it does work is just to actually go out there and do it. So to say that, I want to commend the folks at the Transportation Department, Scott, Jamie, and Susan, have really got out there, put on the ground what needs to be put on the ground, have worked with the folks out here in the community, and have done a fabulous job at that. So I want you to know the management of the Transportation Department is doing exactly what they need to do. And I'm very proud of every one of them. When they show up for work, they don't mind to stay late. The job's done. They're ready. They come in the next morning ready to go at it again. So, Scott, if you have anything you'd like to comment on, feel free to comment on it.
Well, we're just going to continue to work every day. We're prepping a road today, and we've had some trees to go down, and we've had to get them up, but we just go out here and try to make these roads better than what they are.
Any questions?
Can I say something about the mowing?
Yes.
Last year when we the court voted to buy these tractors, mowers, I wasn't in favor of it. I was concerned that we wouldn't be able to get operators. That's worked out exceptionally well. And I haven't had any calls this year concerning the lack of mowing. All I've had is positive comments. So I want to brag on you for that. I want to apologize for my mistake.
I'll say the operators that we have, we don't hear a lot out of them. we don't have to look over them.
You're doing good.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Well, while we're talking about the road, I haven't heard anything. Well, what is the real story about the discretionary funds? Did we get any discretionary fund?
We did not.
Was there, what was the rebuttal or what was the comments back from? They sent us anything back? We'll get a copy of that, see why we didn't.
Now, they sent out a list of all counties that received discretionary. We just wasn't on the list.
They didn't tell us why.
No.
That's all I have.
Any other questions?
I just want to make a comment about the road department. I think as far as the mowing, great job. Done with their new paper. Received nothing but positive comments. Appreciate that so much.
Well, when they're going to do something in my district, they notify me what they're gonna do. And if I don't happen to go out there, they call me and say it's done. I appreciate that. That's never happened before.
All right. Thank you very much. We will move on to Emergency Management Solid Waste, Chairman Bowman.
We had met a couple times, including yesterday on the 20th. And our conversations centered around quarantine of animals and then rabies control. And there is an ordinance related to animal control that has been done now. And, the rabies control is section 90.02. And can you bring that up? Do you have a hard copy of that where all the guys can see that, or?
Tracy, do you have that you can bring that up?
Okay. All right. Okay, and so the county attorney has already drafted this, and so this ordinance, and it says, whereas the county of Barren adopted an animal control regulations code with Barren County Ordinance number 269, and whereas it is determined that certain provisions should be amended, redacted, and or added to the code, be it ordained by the fiscal court, the Barren County, Commonwealth of Kentucky, and then the additions are noted. So I don't know if I need to read all this or not. Well, okay, but anyway, to kind of summarize it, it centers around a rabid animal, and then what to do, how that's handled, by the veterinarian, how it's handled by, the owner, and then the quarantine period. So I think that's pretty much a summary of that. So if I need to read this, I will.
And just to add to that, this was the meeting that we had was with Animal Control,
Right.
and the Health Department.
Well, Shelley Furlong was there, animal control officer.
And Dennis, remember Dennis?
Okay, and Dennis
Yeah.
was there too.
Was on there from the Health Department as well. So
So, do I need to have a motion from the committee? Bring it to court, or this court as a whole?
it's a recommendation.
A recommendation?
Motion would be.
Okay. So I'll need a motion in to adopt, this ordinance relating to.
Have a motion.
Yeah.
We have a second. This will be first reading. So any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. The other old business is Stallion Way discontinuances. As far as I know, I haven't our office hasn't received any written, wants to speak in opposition of Stallion Way. But we will open the public hearing. As soon as we close it down, I'll let Master Cooper give you some comments.
This is a street that was kind of left behind from the new veterans highway that came through. It's just a dead end. It's been a problem for people going back. Just dumping garbage, whatever. There's no reason for the county to maintain this road. So I had viewers to go out for my precinct, and they said they see no reason not to close it. So we posted the notices in the paper, and we had to post 3 notices within a mile of the road. And the judge said we didn't receive any negative comments. So this would be the, we do all this, we don't have to have 2 readings. Okay, so I'll close it, and then if you, I'll entertain a motion. Okay, I'll make the motion that we do proceed with closing Stallion Way.
Have a motion? Second. We have a second. Master Potts, questions? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed. Master Chairman, thank you for your work on this. I know it's took a while to get this done. We'll pass on the appointment of Barren County Cemetery Board. And we will move on to new business. Claims. I believe there was a question that came up about the statute of limitations on payment of claims. So we want the county attorney to, I think she was asked to provide a report for that.
Yes, I did some research with regard to the statute of limitations on bills submitted to the county for payment. And in Kentucky, it's going to range anywhere from 4 years to 15 years of a statute of limitations, depending on whether or not there is any written contract. In these circumstances, I don't think we're dealing with any bills that are greater than 4 years old. So my advice and counsel to you would be to pay the bills.
Any questions?
So the statute of limitations, Ms. Thomas, is 4 years to 15 years?
Yes, there are various statutes that relate to this, but the range would be 4 to 15, yes.
All right, so to give you an example, what come up the last time in the claims, payment of claims, we had some that were 1 and 2 years old, 2019, 2020.
Yes, those would need to be paid.
Legally, we would have to pay any late fees that were associated with those bills, if there were any.
You know, when it comes to the late fees, I believe that if you're telling me that the bills were not submitted to us until that time from the service provider, then I certainly would think you could argue or negotiate with regard to the late fees or any penalties that are on the bill. However, the actual amount accrued for service would be, we would need to pay. And when I say that we would need to pay it, or that there's a statute of limitations, that just means that if the provider, the service provider, it wanted to pursue legally against us for payment, they could, it would be actionable for 4 to 15 years, depending on the circumstances.
So if I'm understanding it correctly, then there's a KRS statute that states 4 years to 15 years.
Yes, there are various statutes that relate to different types of bills, whether or not a contract is written or not written. There are different statutes, the minimum of which would be 4, the maximum of which would be 15.
Okay, so when we're looking through the payment of claims, if it's not greater than 4 years, then we pay it, right?
That's correct.
Any other questions? Okay, so, and the claims that were in question, they're back in this round here to be paid, so they were in question last time.
According to the rules, then we should pay them.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to pay the claims.
Motion.
I'll second. Bob, second by Mr. Bowman. Questions? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Approved transfer of funds.
Motion.
Really? Mr. Potts, questions? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Approved budget adjustment. Motion. Mr. Coomer?
Second.
Mr. Couchins, questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Approved monthly financial statement, August 2021, subject to audit.
So moved.
Mr. Couchins. Mr. Coomer, questions? Hearing all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Approved official settlements, August 2021, subject to audit, the county attorney, the county clerk, and the sheriff.
Motion.
Second. Mr. Riddle, questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, personnel actions.
Second.
The motion is second, questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Approve annual management plan. That's for the Austin boat ramp lease with the Corps of Engineers.
So moved.
Mr. Riddle, second Mr. Houchins. Questions, discussion?
Those pictures, is that just showing, doesn't show anything that's wrong with that, just take care of it. That's right. Thank you. You're welcome.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, first reading to the ordinance 661. It's relating to budget amendment.
Motion.
Mr. Potts.
Second.
Mr. Riddle, questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. Motion to adjourn. So moved. Mr. Cover, we are adjourned. Thank you.